there are so many levers that you have to pull that when you start having the conversation around compensation, you're asked about salary, but you should be talking about comp. Comp is that bigger package picture.
Which is
That
all of those things, correct?
all of those things. There's so many things on that table from exec coaching. Many of my clients that I work with on the salary bump negotiate me as part of their package so we can do 6 month, 3 month, 6 month, 9 month coaching,
Right,
and
right.
their company pays for that as part of their package. And a lot of my clients also come to me to say, I want to grow in my current organization, or I just want to grow. Will get me paid for by their companies too, because that's part of a negotiation. So asking is first and foremost doing your homework, making sure you know what the market is paying is also just so important. You need to get grounded to what is actually out there.
All right. Now you've talked about two great examples, starting a new job, kind of when you're in a job. Let's talk about the one that people miss. And I really am so excited to hear how you're going to talk about this. It's you're exiting somewhere. And let's give a little bit of an example. Okay. You're a 20-year employee. You've worked your way up from, I don't know, mid-level role to a senior level role. You're starting to feel, I feel like I'm going to be getting pushed out. This is not going well. What do you advise people to do? If they probably are going to go somewhere else, maybe they're thinking about where they're going, or they're thinking their next steps, but they're not thinking about how they're going to transition. Tell me what they should be thinking and what is possible, because really that employer doesn't have to give them anything unless they've negotiated it 20 years ago, right?
So here's the thing. I will tell you, as a CHRO, every day, and I mean this, and I'm not alone. I know this is happening inside every organization. I am talking with business leaders, heads of business units, about how we cut costs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, every day.
Every day.
We are looking at operations. We are looking at open headcount. We are looking at skills we need for the future. We are looking at where we are behind the eight ball. We are looking at how are we going to possibly hit our targets this year? And I'm coming at it always from a people perspective,
Correct. Right.
right? So I know these conversations are happening every day. You know they're happening every day because you see the earnings results.
Correct.
You see
Right.
that your CEO just announced either to shareholders or inside, we had a really rough quarter.
Mm-hmm.
You see that 6 months ago, they just did a slew of layoffs. You saw last year layoffs that they did. I can almost guarantee you that every company is having these conversations on the daily. And what happens is they ask the CFO to pull the P&L and sort the line items, highest to lowest. And guess what line item is the biggest line item in the P&L? My personnel budget, my headcount budget.
Yeah.
So automatically they go right to that big bucket and they say, guess what? We got to do a haircut. We got to cut.
Yeah.
We got to cut heads,
Yeah.
because there's part of that is laziness, because they don't want to look at the operations and where we're spending grossly, because I've done that work too. It's easier for them, in air quotes, to just lay people off. And then you saw that happen a lot after the pandemic with the overhiring and then like this readjusting, and you saw like salaries were high. So there's this, it's a really delicate balance of having the right people, the right number of people, the right cost ratio to your revenue and your profit. So it's a conversation happening every day is how I want to what I want to lay the groundwork on.
Right. Every day, this is this dynamic
This is behind the scenes.
going on all the time of swirl. So you need to almost think about kind of what you're trying to say. There's lots of noise, and you, as that spoke that could be just chopped, needs to think about.
Well, the reason I preface this answer with that is because if you come to me and say, I saw the earnings results, I know times are tough, I want to throw my name in the hat. I know it's a little bit unconventional, but I want to throw my name in the ring for a package. I recognize that, you may or may not even need my role in the future. I've given that some thought too, if you want to talk through that. But I think it's time, and I would greatly appreciate a conversation about what a package could look like.
That is a great idea. That's proactive. That gives them an out, right? And that gives you some leverage to perhaps have a landing that's going to allow you to go someplace better.
Well, here's the thing, Bonnie. You might have just saved someone else's job, number one. They have been giving packages out. Most companies have been giving packages out, so they know what the package calc is. For director and above, usually I would try for a 1 month for every year served, and below that, 2 weeks. So I'll tell you two really cool examples. I just worked with two amazing women. One who smelt something didn't quite feel right, was very long tenured, 30 plus years.
It's hard.
Was like, I think it's time. All right, let's put you in the driver's seat of that conversation so you don't end up getting fired, because that's a different grieving process. You in the driver's seat to have this conversation is very different. So we got her in the driver's seat, loaded her lips on how to have this conversation. She went to her boss, had a very clear, very direct conversation. The boss said, yep, it's time. We'll come back to you with some thoughts. Didn't talk numbers, didn't talk money. It was just a wonderful conversation. She called me. It went really well. I can expect something in my inbox in the next day or two. Great. We ended up negotiating $2.3 million, Bonnie. We
That's
got
awesome.
1 month for every year served, plus, full bonuses, plus coaching for me, plus grandfather lifetime healthcare benefits.
Oh my gosh, that's huge.
We went to the complete wall. I mean, it was so great. And the neat part about it was she said to her and her husband were navigating this process throughout. And he was, of course, fighting for her. And it was so cute. Over the holiday, he said, I printed off the 7 grieving steps. And I know, like, over the holidays, like, let's talk through these steps. And she said, honey, I love you and you're so sweet, but I don't need these steps. I feel like $1,000,000.
Yeah. Because
I am in the driver's seat.
that's
The conversations, she did it with grace, with elegance, amazing.